Welcome back to Pathfinder Kingmaker. I thought that before we go to the Stag Lord, we should probably explore some of these locations. So let's move on over there. Well, maybe we have to follow the roads because we haven't been there.
A rest would be welcome.
Caledorn and his incessant complaining about needing rests all the time. But sure. Well, actually, if he's the only one that needs a rest, that's fine. Let's go to the oak that strayed. Not sure how an oak can stray, but this isn't a particularly large area.
We march ahead.
There's an insane dryad here. Okay, let's
Our time has come.
Summon an air elemental.
I am your shield.
Anything is possible.
And you can summon a fire elemental.
Grotus awaits us.
Grotus awaits us, yes. You can cast Bull Strength on
You
her.
have my attention.
Why, thank you, my lady.
Well, I'm listening.
And Lindsay was called forth.
Then
Don't
you can move there. And
Done
you
with
can move
waiting.
there. You can move there.
We will prevail.
We go.
Wretched things.
That might have been overkill. She has a turquoise, or turquoise, whatever its pronunciation is. Now we have some noisy elementals with us. That's a big rabbit or hare. As keen sickle +1. I don't know if we will get any quests in this area at some point. Well, that seems to be it for now. Let's head on out again. Don't need that dagger.
A rest would be welcome.
Yes. You will get a rest. Not yet, but soon. Okay. Let's fight the random encounter. We could use the achievement. Okay. Well, that's the easiest random encounter I've ever done.
Become
And then our leader charged forwards. Hey, wait for me!
repent.
When the enemies that try to assault you are actually not intelligent enough to actually stand in the road either to actually attack you, that's kind of amusing. Let's just leave. Progress 2 out of 100.
A rest would be welcome.
Yes, yes.
Resting would be nice, don't you think?
Okay, let's strike camp.
Such sad, deserted lands.
Lawlessness always leads to desolation and emptiness.
I wouldn't know. Galt is no more orderly, but it's nowhere near as desolate.
Amateurs. Let's go to the Boggard hunting grounds. This a big location? Ah, this looks a bit bigger.
To the dust, you
Not sure what a Boggard is. It's
Strike as one.
it doesn't really say what it is. Oh, there are several of them. Oh, I should turn that off. Terrifying croak. Oh no. They're like frog people then.
Let us strike as one!
Prevail.
And they make the most interesting sounds.
Any last wishes?
I might have forgotten to loot the other ones, but we'll just go through it when we leave the map. Oh, what's this? An adventurer with a cloak. Cloak of resistance. Excellent. We need to equip that on someone. Let's give it to Amiri.
I will guide us.
Oh, they were talking about desolate lands earlier. That's certainly valid for this place. There's a guy with a ring of protection +1. Excellent. We can give that to Amiri as well. Guess we can loot these things. Nothing in particular interest otherwise, so let's just leave the map or the area to the... Oh, that was a copper ring. And leave. North Null Marshes we'll go to later on. So let's move on over to that point. The journey will take 8 hours. 2207. Let's see if that actually holds true. Yeah, actually does. Endless Plains. Looks like some kobolds assaulted an orc. He has a scimitar +1 and a wand of grease and some random stuff.
Our path leads on.
Well, this is a very tranquil place with some large willows and everything. Now what? A manticore.
To arms!
Now all the wyverns are going all completely haywire here. Okay, this thing probably is rather difficult.
Do not hold back.
51 hit points. Let's, well, difficult is relative compared to our... Summon a few elementals. Send Valerie over there. And Amiri. And Jaethal. And also Harim. Oh, I need to turn that up again. Well, that was easier than expected. Skin it. Manticore pelt. Adventure with a belt. Belt of incredible dexterity. So who wants more dexterity? You already have one of those. I wish it would say what the main stat is, because I'm not that used to... Nope. Let's give it to Caledorn then. Ah, this song is very nice. Not Jaethal. Caledorn. Well, that explains all the dead people. Petrified egg. A whimsical berry. Aw, that's cute.
Forwards.
Yep. Is that done with? We don't need a regular dueling sword. Then we haven't been to the waterlogged lowland, so let's go there.
Resting would be nice, don't you think?
Well, I guess.
Stay away from me, you spook! I'll tear off your hands before you can blink.
Oh dear.
You flatter yourself. I've no interest in primitive boneheads.
Oh dear. You're a terrible cook, Caledorn. Okay, let's enter the waterlogged lowland. We walked across the heath for a long time, yet no sight sprang up before our eyes. By turns, we discovered a verdant lowland with several near-about springs streaming down behind another hillside. And then, in the distance, in the centre of the lowland among the bush, there stood a single dry tree. A true giant. Its magnificent outline resembled an animal's paw, clawing at the sky. But what was truly remarkable, the flat landscape was dotted by mysterious dark humps. They were piled about the height of a man and scattered around in abundance. We determined that we should explore the lowland. The further we trekked, the softer the land became. Step by step, heath grass gave way to moss, low-growing shrubs and ferns, and then slushy puddles of stinky swamp water. The muddy ground sucked at our feet, and soon our party was jumping from hassock to hassock. Finally, we reached the first group of mysterious humps, and learned that they were no mere hills, but dug-out dwellings. We moved with great care towards the centre of the lowland, and there the real swamp began. On the way toward the mysterious giant tree, we saw the foggy outline of another hut, this one much bigger and surrounded by small clay statues. Let's do the lore nature 15. Standing one behind another and tied together with a rope, we continued on our journey. Failed. We walked slowly, carefully choosing our way, keeping to dry ground as much as possible. But the further we went, the more difficult it became, and soon we were wading waist-deep through the cattails. Frogs croaked loudly as we peered anxiously into the cloudy water, struggling to make out what shadows flitted among the bottom. Suddenly, Caledorn staggered, spit out an oath, and flailed his arms. He'd made a wrong step, and unable to pull out his foot, he called out loudly and began to sink into the vile green slush. Keeping our wits, we tugged on the rope, but the poorly tied knot quickly came undone. Athletics 14. Wary of another of us getting sucked into the bog, we decided to form a living chain. Standing next to each other and holding hands, we began to pull up our fellow traveller. Succeeded. Luckily, Caledorn managed to keep his head above the water while we struggled to rescue him. Grabbing the nearest hand and pulling with all his strength, he freed first one foot and then the other. The insatiable bog gurgled hungrily after us, but we didn't look back. Sodden and weary, we finally made it back to solid ground, and a palace of sorts rose before our eyes. A spacious hut made of mud like the rest, but decorated with pebbles, bones, cattail spikes and snail shells. In front of the palace was a wide and shallow reservoir. Its green water reflected the leaves of huge ferns and primitive clay figurines. The buzzing of gnats was nearly deafening. We were not far to the centre of the swamp, and a firm and steady path led there through the thick bushes. At its end, that tall, dry tree stretched mightily upwards, clawing at the firmament. Knowledge World 17. We carefully examined the clay figurines, trying to fathom who they might portray. Succeeded. Goggle eyes, flat heads with no necks, ears or chins, ugly long legs, unnaturally bent. These sculptures could only be the work of boggards. Primitive, cruel boggard tribes had inhabited the swamps of Garund and Avistan since the olden days. Pitiless to others and to each other, they were led by the darker instincts of their insane priest-kings. They are known to grow young fry in the pools inside the houses. So we peeked inside the hut. The palace was twice the height of other huts, and its entrance was wide enough that the three could walk abreast. The walls were decorated. An unknown builder had scratched drawings in the clay while it was still wet. The faded scroll depicted huge amphibians devouring smaller figures, some frog-headed, others not. 3 of the 4 rooms boasted large holes filled with water, just like the other dwellings, though here there were steps descending into them, cut into the dirt. In the furthest room we found equipment decorating the walls. Leather armor, spears, clubs. To our surprise, a number of items were well preserved. The hut was clearly deserted, so we felt no shame in taking some of it with us. Items received: short sword, leather armor, and 137 coins. We moved forward, seeing we'd drawn so near our goal. It was ever so lovely to walk once again along the well-trodden path. Our soaked clothes imagined being dry, and our mood at once lifted. The bushes that bordered the path seemed to wave at us amiably, with their juicy green leaves and shiny bright red berries. A fresh wind puffed away the rotten smell, and it finally felt like the swamp might nearly be behind us. But then the wind stopped blowing, and the thorny branches continued to move, and we heard a loud shout. Caledorn, who was watching our rear, pointed to a surging, crawling wall of green filling in the path behind us. The surrounding thicket was coming to life. Its branches reached out with a soft swishing sound. Drops of sap oozed from their thorns, gleaming in the emerald dusk. The path was disappearing. There was no way back, and the clear space ahead was closing. So we can either do mobility, or we can do strength. And I think mobility is the better choice here. We ran forward as fast as our legs could carry us, flying towards the closing passage. Succeeded. As any experienced traveller can tell you, sometimes you walk and sometimes you run. The branches snatched at our backpacks and clothes, and the sprouts tangled at our feet, but we slipped their grasp. We were too quick. Finally, after what seemed an endless trek, we came upon the gigantic dry tree that has so intrigued us from the beginning. Lo and behold, we saw an idol cut in its trunk. A huge, horned, three-eyed toad. Its googly eyes made it look both cruel and dumb, almost idiotic. Its muzzle hung half open, sharp-toothed, with several hanging tongues. Deep brown streaks oozed from the corners of its mouth. Lore Religion 15. We tried to glean what sort of idol it might be. Failed. Sadly, we failed to glean whom the idol was devoted to, but it was surely not one of the lighter gods. But what is this? While we were examining the idol, a large bright blue dragonfly came out of a hollow in the tree and sat invitingly on the very tip of one of our noses. It was so remarkably strange. It didn't react to our movements and seemed quite content to remain where it sat. Awful good. The idol reeked of evil, to say the least. We were certain we must destroy it. Clearly, we could not leave such an obscenity unscathed. We drew our swords and slashed at the wooden face, and from it oozed black, sticky blood. We heard a great clap of thunder, and a thick fog arose from nowhere. The bird screamed furiously. More thunder soon followed, and with each strike the sky grew darker and darker. Soon we couldn't see the sun through the fog. The air shuddered again, but was it still thunder, or the creaky voice of the monstrous toad? Still, our iron blades dug deep into the blood-soaked wood, and at last the idol was smashed into splinters. The fog cleared away and silence descended. Suddenly, we realized that almost every frog in the swamp had gone quiet. We turned almost with a sigh of relief and saw that the flesh-eating bush had withered away. Satisfied with a job well done, we returned to where we'd come from. Gained 27 experience. There is nothing interesting left in this location. Okay. Let's go this way. Probably should make camp. So who has the best knowledge world? Let's take all of them out. You're the only one with stealth, though. I think we'll put Lindsay here, and then we'll put Caledorn in the camp camouflage. Amiri can do the hunting. We can do the blend into the night, in case the camp camouflage fails. There we go. You have 0 perception. Well, that's not good. Ah well. Let's go with Shepherd's Pie. That seems good.
A dwarf and an elf, exiles who've rejected the gods of their people, fighting side by side. How strange. You're like a reflection in a distorting mirror.
Too bad your goddess doesn't teach you humility. I'm not anyone's reflection. I am me. And you might have realized over your long life that the world doesn't exist for you.
That's better. Okay, let's move on south. And then in here to the Riverine Rise. This isn't too big of an area.
Without a doubt.
It's leaving the area again, so need to go over here and go up that hill. What the heck is that? A large water element.
This is where I step in.
Despicable.
Okay. 70 hit points.
Serves you
Not
right.
really that concerned then. Indeed. There's a dead dwarf here. A few collectibles. Is cave something we can enter? I guess it would have shown us some kind of a button for entering if we could. Let's leave the area again. Why are you walking up there? And then we have Ratnook Hill. I think that has access from down here. Yep. Let's enter that location. This looks a little bit bigger than the other areas, but not by much. I wonder why it's called Ratnook Hill.
My search was not in vain.
That was close.
Anything else? I see something. Applause, please.
Dead person with an ancient Rostlandic coin.
How curious.
Oh. How did you manage to loot that without triggering the trap?
Applause, please.
I don't like surprises.
Well, not when it's traps, then I would agree, but when it is...
It's just not my lucky day.
No,
What's that?
when it's loot, it's handy though.
I failed. I'm
Try
sorry.
again.
Anything else?
Good job.
What a surprise.
We do get decent experience for disarming
I
these.
failed. I'm sorry.
It's fine.
How curious.
It's just not my lucky day.
Try again then.
Applause, please.
I don't think there's anything down here. Not. Let's go up to the cave. In we go. Curious sound.
You're but a footnote in our
A
story.
were-rat. Ow. You might have to use magic on that. You're burning.
Your life ebbs and flows.
Okay, stop that.
Waste.
You need to cast inflict wounds on yourself. You probably should consider drinking a potion. Cast more spells on this thing then. Okay, we definitely need something that does magic damage here.
Worse. Will be definitely will be.
Level 2. Let's change this into a cure moderate wounds, and you can cast that on yourself.
Yes.
And you, please summon a small fire elemental. Those were painful.
Oh, sorry. Was lost in thought.
Share your will.
So, short sword +1, and a belt of incredible dexterity, cookery +1, and a keen cookery +1, and a leather armor +2. That's nice. This thing has a masterwork club, bombardier's vest, headband of vast intelligence. This was a profitable place to go to. Difficult though.
Without a doubt.
Well, up we go then. We did loot a belt sort of type. Belt of incredible dexterity. There is no reason not to equip it on someone. Let's put it on Aethal. And also headband of vast intelligence. None of these need intelligence particularly. No, not on me. Let's put it on Lindsay. And you have a leather armor, so you can... That one is for alchemists. You can have the leather armor +2. So at AC 20, which is very good. Yep, happy with that. Let's leave the map. Oh, almost left those behind. Okay, so I think we have gotten the locations in this area. And it's just a matter of moving down there. Let's fight that one. Maybe just some bandits or
You
something.
cannot stand against me.
Alchemist. Well, no, that didn't go too well.
Our path leads on.
Did I hear someone chanting? Oh yes.
We shall
Scared?
overcome.
You should be.
Ow. Okay. Let's just leave the way we came. Doesn't really matter what end of the map you leave on. Grab the loot. Okay. Click leave, not X. Let's have a quick look around.
Resting would be nice, don't you think?
Yeah, sure. Let's rest.
Jaethal and the Rivers of Blood. Jaethal and the Broken Hearts. No, she prefers ripping them out over breaking them.
If you must mention me in your scribbles, would you care to replace my name? I've no wish to be associated with cheap novels.
No. Poor Lindsay. Okay. Go to the old mesa. And have a look around. Not too big. Quick save. Oh, there's a camp.
We will prevail!
With a greater werewolf. Okay, let's
Attack!
just send everyone to attack. Let's try that again.
Become as dust.
Spell. Summon Earth Elemental. Probably around there. You can summon a Water Elemental around there. Oh, it died. It has a potion of invisibility and a ruby and an unidentified breastplate, which is a breastplate +1. Random loot. Anything of interest down here? The map exit. Don't expect there to be any interest down here either. Another map exit. There's something to loot. Just various sellable items. And the final map exit. Let's move this way. Glade in the wilderness. Sure.
Bring it! We've downed better
Doggies.
ones.
Was easy
I
enough.
am yours to command.
Skin them.
Without a doubt.
Leave. Continue on our way. We do not want to enter the location yet. Okay. Well, let's head here. And that is where we'll go in the next episode. So thank you all so very much for joining me, and I will see you all next time.